Hello, lovely people. I come to you today looking pretty rough, disheveled. Because, what a week. What a week. I won't tell you everything that's going on, but I do want to get a few things off of my chest. And one thing that has kind of been weighing on me is the progress of this channel. And, I don't expect much. I don't expect to be Mr. Beast in what? 19 to 20, 21, 22, 3.5 years. A little over 3.5 years. But I've seen a lot of channels start up here since I started mine. And, a lot of them, they deserve their 20, 50, 100,000 followers, subscribers, let's say. And a lot of them don't. You've got anything from the obvious, like the girls dressed in bikinis that post videos of themselves dusting furniture. And it's like, yeah, they've got 1 million followers in a month, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense. That's just cannon fodder to a degree. Everybody sees those and goes, oh boy, we roll our eyes. And obviously a few of us actually go, woo, and subscribe, I guess. But then there's, the dedicated channels, and they might suck, but they're doing like guitar pedals and they only do guitar pedals and they kind of suck at it, but they'll get 5 or 10,000 subscribers, and there's that. I'm at 48, and it's none of your, it's no fault in any of you guys. I'm very thankful. That's crazy. If I was ever acting up in grade school, right? There were only like 30 or 31 kids in my class, right? So 48 is like, wow, you're a class and a half, right? Or somewhere near there. But it kind of, it bugs me because I got this email like a week and a half ago from YouTube, and it said, it's all cheery and bubbly and from YouTube creators. And it's got colorful graphics on it, colorful graphics on it. It's got nice font. It's all cheery and happy. And I'm reading this text and it says, upload more shorts. And, it's incentivizing uploading more shorts. I'll put it up on the screen. And you could get up to 40% more followers, or subscribers. You can up to 40% more subscribers. I'm like, wait a minute. If they know it that precisely, like that exacting of a number, then what's going on here? And I can look through my analytics when I post a short, and there's a pattern that it follows, like nothing for 6 hours. Whether I post it at 6 a.m. or midnight or 6 p.m. or 3 in the afternoon or something random like 8:22 p.m., it's always 6 hours, and then boom, I get enough to get like 150 viewers and then flatline. They don't give any more impressions, meaning they don't put it out there. They don't put it in the sidebar. They don't put it in searches. They just disappear it. And then a couple of weeks later, I start getting views on videos, usually from searches, very specific searches. Now that's with shorts. But it bothers me with the shorts thing because they promote it as, this is key to growing a channel on YouTube. And it's obviously rigged. They're obviously throttling views on shorts. It's not about target demographics or an algorithm that is based upon a person's viewing trends and their habits, because I've been hitting those really solid. If it were about an algorithm, yeah, I would have worked it pretty good by now. but they're throttling accounts to try to get them to put out more and more and more. And the problem with that is quality goes down. I like to think about what I'm going to say first. I like to come up with some graphics. I mean, this video right here is not, it's kind of counter that, as I should like to take a shower and shave first, right? But no, that's not the point. I mean, I'm in character. This is all a presentation about, this is the look of a person who gets really frustrated with how YouTube is doing its thing. It's stressful. I see a lot of longtime creators here, channel owners, video producers and creators, as YouTube calls them, saying the same things, that it's just getting ridiculous. Certain people are elevated and escalated, and they get the impressions and the views and the subscribers and the watch hours, and they get the money too. Like, back in 2019, YouTube lost a $170 million lawsuit over that COPPA law thing, where they found out that they'd been targeting kids with advertisements illegally. Well, that's back. And there are bigger groups after them now for even larger settlement, claiming that they're still doing it. I've been saying it for like 3 years now, that Mr. Beast, the guy who's plastered all over the homepage, no matter what computer you view YouTube from, or phone, or any device, he's there all over. And if you just look through his list of videos, it's like every 10th video, there's a picture of like a 6 or 7-year-old girl or boy, reaching their hand out for something he's offering, or there's a title like, I filled a house with Jell-O. It's obviously aimed at children. It's obviously aimed at kids. We ordered pizza and I tipped the house, that kind of thing, over and over and over. Well, that guy didn't explode onto YouTube until right around that COPPA settlement. And it makes sense to me. This is their way of getting kids in, although they're not signed in as kids, right? So there's nothing to track them being a kid, but it's still a kid. And if there's a cookie from YouTube saying, and basically a kid, watch this, and then that's a super cookie that some other advertising partner of theirs around the internet sees at a toy store website, they can kind of deduce that this is a kid on our website. They're skirting COPPA. And that's why Mr. Beast is plastered all over the place. It's not because, like, he brags about, oh, I figured out the algorithm. Why would YouTube be okay with somebody just pounding the algorithm like that? Overtly, like, using that kind of clout to abuse the algorithm at the expense of all these other channels that they say they want developed. He's a happy face sticker on the company. Jack Welch, back in the 90s, I was watching PBS and he was being interviewed. And the interviewer said, why does General Electric, GE, we bring good things to life, those people, they asked the CEO, Jack Welch, they said, why does GE still manufacture home appliances? Like ovens, refrigerators, washers and dryers. And he said, yeah, that one's an easy. It keeps a happy face sticker on the company. And he smiled real big. Well, the guy asked him further about it. He's like, a happy face sticker. Oh, you mean so that your buying public doesn't get upset that you're producing all these things for nuclear reactors and weapons and all these things that are like horrible for the environment? He's like, yeah, that's what I mean. So this large corporation is willing to take a loss of close to $1 billion a year making appliances that are decent appliances, but they're not profitable, and they know they're not profitable. And according to the bean counters, the office people, they should drop that. They should sell it off and stop making that. But they don't, because it keeps people thinking of GE as, oh, this wholesome family company. That's exactly what YouTube is doing with Mr. Beast. Exactly what they are doing. That's why that guy gets all the publicity. Difference in advertising and publicity is advertising you pay for. Publicity is free. That guy gets a ton of publicity, way more than anybody else. He's got the Mr. Beast reacts, is this and that. It's all over the place. But when you look at his main eyeball getter, it's aimed directly at children. And that bothers me. I'm not jealous of the guy. I'm frustrated by that. Corruption leads to frustration. Like poverty leads to people being disgruntled. Right? Same reason the media will never tell you about the finances of a mass shooter. They'll tell you about their demographics, whether they're white or they're black, maybe something about their manifesto, their beliefs, an argument they got in, the history with their girlfriend, but they'll never tell you if that person was struggling with paying bills, gas money, if they had just found themselves living under a bridge. No. Why? Because that conflicts with their billionaire owners' agenda. The billionaires who own the media, they just want us to avoid all those people living under a bridge, living in the park, all the homelessness, the massive uptick in evictions. That's all I see in the St. Louis area news is police chiefs going, we've never seen anything like this. We can't do police work, normal police work, because we're too busy evicting people. Think about that for a second. St. Louis has the highest homicide rate in North America. It's within the top 10 in the world outside of dedicated war zones. There's plenty of crime going on, but they can't get to any of it because they're too busy evicting people. You don't see that on the mainstream media. They won't talk about that. Again, because cities like Ferguson and Minneapolis and Kentucky, Louisville, anywhere where bad stuff has been going on the last few years. Oh, that's just racist white cops. No, it's not. I saw those places 40 years ago when I was a kid. We traveled a lot. My mother owned a beauty salon. We would go over to Ferguson once a week. It was mixed. It was 50-50 black and white. But after Iran-Contra and Biden, Mr. Super Predators, that Hillary said and got famous for, but he actually coined that term. After all that period, white people fled. And of course, to the Jack Drents of Steve Mnuchin and Donald Trump. But those places are broke. Amazon, eBay, all these e-tailers, the Walmarts. Oh, poof. Those three siblings combined, they're in the top 10 billionaire list. Combined, they have way more money than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. How'd they get it? By crushing cities like Ferguson and Minneapolis and all over the country. They won't say that the problems in these major cities are due to poverty, are due to businesses being crushed, disparity. People fight when the money gets tight. All kinds of things. They'll say, oh, it's mental health. We have a mental health crisis. You know how sick and demented and evil you got to be to look at people suffering poverty and say, oh, it's just mental health. They're just crazy. That is just an insane amount of evil. But it conflicts with the billionaires who own the media. They will not say the truth. And the truth is what happened to all these cities and why these cities are so broke they got to hire a cop that got fired last year, stayed over for raping people, is because they're broke. And that racist cop, at the end of the day, is security for that city. So they can say, the top people in the city, they can say, oh, well, it was just a racist cop. It was an anomaly. It was that one individual's personal views. It's nothing systemic. It's nothing bigger than that. Because they don't want to hurt the people who are still donating to that city. They don't want to scare away the entrepreneurs. They don't want to, what do they call them? When a person donates large amounts of money. Oh, donors. But you know, there's a word for this. Starts with an E. Man, brain fog. But their hands are tied, so they got to go along with it and just, yeah, it's racist cops. It's not racist cops. That's not what destroyed Ferguson or Minneapolis or any of these other cities. These billionaires who crushed all the local businesses and left these people in abject poverty, you know, in food islands without grocery stores, where the average person can't even afford bus fare. That kind of stuff is called corruption. And to think that YouTube is any different is beyond naive. They're doing it too. They are cutthroat. The people at the top of that, they're gonna destroy it. They got to do whatever they got to do to squeeze another penny out of it. That's why the ads are increasing. That's why the type of ads are changing. They're rolling out this testing, you know, this pilot of 60-second, can't click away from it ads. They don't care. They're unscrupulous. And so this email that's like, post more shorts and you could get up to 40% more subscribers. Like, how can they guarantee that? How can they guarantee 40%? But then why would they say up to, unless they're throttling accounts? They're limiting the access of accounts. You be the judge. I've been here. You've seen the content that I produce. Is it so subpar that I shouldn't have 5 or 10 or 20,000 subscribers and be monetized to where I can make a few bucks off of this channel? Is it that bad? I mean, yeah, I know I did some tacky things in the beginning, but I've kind of been coming around to at least semi-entertaining. At least shown signs of improvement. My trajectory is up. I'm showing improvement. And yeah, if I were monetized, the improvement so far, you know, this angle here, we're talking like 10 degrees up, would be over 45. I'd be working on this pretty solid. You know, better lighting for one. Now this side of my face is yellow and this one's blue because I'm too poor to be able to afford decent lights. Light bulbs. We're talking $4 and $5 light bulbs. Yeah. It's disheartening to put any effort out there. And of course, the music thing is its own little ball of gut punch. And you find out that streaming services exist, so some no-taste curator can basically wrap total trash around your works. It's like a reverse pyramid scheme. But somehow the major label artists get up to the top. If you believe that, then you would believe if there were complete democracy, say direct democracy, in the United States, like Switzerland has, where citizens vote, debate, propose, and legislate everything. There's no middlemen there. They don't have congressmen. They don't have senators and House members. The people go online and they discuss things. Anybody, your grandma, the neighbor across the street, you, if you're in Switzerland, you can propose legislation. And people will thumb it up, and then eventually it's debated and it could become law. There's a randomly chose body of like 7 people that administer it, and they're swapped in and out, so there's that. And their votes are unhackable, meaning if somebody after a vote says, hey, my vote's changed, just open audit. They can go online and see. My vote's registered this direction. Oh, I didn't vote that direction. They can contact at their local post office, at their city hall, anybody, say, hey, that's not how I voted. It's open audit. So if we had a system like that, right, It'd be like having that and then being told, well, now that everybody's vote actually counts, the poor, 60% of the United States, have just decided to continue allowing the rich to not pay taxes. Really? If we had true democracy in the United States, say direct democracy, the poor would overnight instantly decide that the rich had to pay taxes. If these streaming media sites, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, any of them, if they were actually curating music based upon what listeners out there want, it wouldn't be major label artists hitting the number 1, 2, 3 through 10 spots consistently. It's corrupt. It's corrupt. It's big money, the institutionalized groups, the major labels, charading as, oh, we're being social about it. It gets to be disheartening. I've been at this a long time behind the scenes. 1994, 1995, I went to the Colorado Institute of Art for Music, Video, and Business. And a big chunk of it was business. Well, I studied under a lot of lawyers and Hollywood and New York music people. Very high up people. Went to a lot of lectures, read a lot of books, read a lot of industry stuff. I've been looking at this a long time. Before the internet was released, I was on this. Long before Napster came around, I was on this. If you're throwing credentials around, I was one of the first 50,000 or so people that were allowed onto what was the internet. I was tarring files on the backbone of the internet in 1994, before it was released to the public, because the Colorado Institute of Art through the Colorado State University had access to the naval internet. We could send things to universities in Seattle and San Francisco. We could send them to New York. Not a lot of cities. It didn't go down to like Houston. But my point is, I've been at this a while and I've seen it, and I've been looking at it from a business perspective for around 30 years. And so I'm not just inventing this or imagining it. I've been watching it unfold. And it's corrupt. It's corrupt. Like anything, where insiders get their say. But the difference is now with social media, they can go out and pretend one thing, put a happy face sticker on anything they do socially. It's like all these white-run companies. Look at Tidal. That's a Scandinavian company. It's now owned by Jack, the guy that did Twitter. But it's run by Scandinavians. You go there and you flip through and it's like, wow, endless stream of hip hop and R&B. They don't want to be canceled. Every white-owned run company on the internet is like, oh my God, we don't want to be canceled. Throw a bunch of black people on the page. That can backfire. I mean, yeah, black people have been held down too long. They need their acknowledgement. And in the United States, they're 12.5% of the population. I mean, doubling that's 25%. If you give them 25% coverage, I mean, that's 200%. Okay, but when you start making 12.5% of the population, like 90% of the coverage, everybody else, the Hispanics that are 16.5% of the population and the white people who are 69% of the population, they're going to be like, okay, all right, you're being that way. And they're just going to like start backing away. And you don't want that. That can cause a different type of backlash. Again, not about jealousy. I got my own problems. Light reflects off me crazy. Especially when I'm greasy like this. But there's things going on and manipulations happening that are not for anyone's benefit. They are harmful in the long run. And reality being what it is, these are techniques developed in the mobster era. These are monopolistic, mobster type actions that are, happening at the executive level. And that mentality is rife on Wall Street. It's cutthroat. They're just looking at numbers. Do whatever we got to do, as unscrupulous, nefarious, even insidiously nefarious as we got to be, to please those investors and up their own golden parachutes should things go south on them. And of course, they'll circle the wagons if that happens, and everybody will claim, oh, no, nothing happened. And just hope that there's not some rebel lawyer out there that's actually going to risk their life and prosecute them. So that's my spiel. That's what's got me going now, because apart from that, personally in life, this is a really tough time. Job hunting now, and not got a lot to do it with. Remember, you can get an interview, you can basically have the job handed to you today, but you still gotta be able to drive there. But first, drive to get a physical, drive to get a background check. Wait, go through orientation. And when you got like enough money to make it through barely a week to orientation, you might make it, you might not. But then you got to work for a week to get that first paycheck, if they pay weekly. So yeah, I'm kind of at end of rope territory. That's why, I'll admit it. That's what was the impetus. That's what was the motivation for me making this video. I'm sick of seeing the corruption, because it's not just me. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of other YouTube creators, content makers, channel owners who are being screwed. And a lot of them forced into really bad situations. Suicide rate in the United States hit an all-time high last year. Numbers for this year aren't in yet, but I'm thinking they're not going to be good. Thinking they're going to be really bad. And it's just sickening to be feeling like I'm a part of a system that gets rich from abusing people like that, because that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's abuse. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll be back to say, I don't know, Dear Taurus, your horoscope for today and every day forever. Real soon. Maybe I'll do Sagittarius. I've just been making those two wait. I don't know. No particular reason. But hang in there, guys. I trust you. You're strong. Over and out.